minds have been abducted. You'll be notified in your dreams.
Poor Magazine is an organization-led, poor people-led, indigenous-led, with...
So as Ingrid said, this is Sala Comunitaria.
Como dice Ingrid, this is la Prensa Comunitaria.
So what is Sala Comunitaria? That's community newsroom.
Es noticiero de comunidad.
Which really means that unlike CNN,
Que quiere decir que no como CNN,
we're PNN.
somos PNN.
We're the people-led news.
Minds have been abducted. You'll be notified in your dreams.
Ernestine Florence, a family of 10 kids, 5 cousins and 2 parents. I've been involved in politics off and on throughout the years. I can proudly say that in 1965 I did walk from Selma to Alabama, to Montgomery, but I only did the first 8 miles.
I have experienced depression because of my orientation, my class, and having been involved with the prison industrial complex and the higher education system.
My name is John Avalos, and I'm on the Board of Supervisors, where I would say I have a great deal of privilege that I have access to, and I've not always had that experience in my life, but I've had enough of it to be able to rise to be on the Board of Supervisors, and I need to be cognizant of where I've come from when I didn't have privilege, and how that can give me a sense of how I could best support people who are struggling against depression.
So, my name is No Identity. I'm a wannabe correspondent blogger for PNN, a sometimes artist poet with Pole Poets Project, a yellow disability elder scholar on leave of absence from People's School, and I'm a sensei with lots to say, so I'm going to speak out. So much injustice to shout.
And I moved here to San Francisco to become an artist and get involved in things like this. And so I'm the administrator. If you guys need anything, let me know. And it's, again, this is a revolution in itself to just have media created by people, for the people, and all that stuff that people only talk about but they don't really mean. We actually mean that here, so it's hard work.
And I'm on the Board of Supervisors, like I said. I've been involved in politics well beyond being on the Board of Supervisors, and I kind of get into politics, I would say, through organizing and movement building. I believe I'm a movement politician, and I believe when you say movement politician, you kind of lighten the word on politician a bit. I like to think, and that I'm working on an inside-outside strategy of how to do my work at City Hall.
Dele chicas. Living here in San Francisco, what will you do about one of her friends just got the car impounded? And I see, like, especially here in San Francisco, there's a lot of harassment of the immigrant community. It's either because of the cars or either because of the sanctuary law that supposedly San Francisco had, and then the whole raid they did at Avalos. So what will you tell the immigrant community who sometimes feel like attacked?
Well, I would tell the immigrant community that they have an ally. Tienen un aliado conmigo, que he hecho mucho trabajo al lado de la comunidad contra los oficiales que tienen mucho poder, contra la migra en ICE, y también en el presupuesto de la ciudad he hecho alocado dinero para prever abogados y caseworkers,
trabajadores sociales,
trabajadores sociales para ayudar a los residentes de San Francisco que necesita ayuda sobre temas de la inmigración. Entonces, para mí es algo que tengo mucho orgullo a trabajar con la comunidad inmigrante para ayudar en esa manera. Es algo que
to reduce these the deaths that all these young people are losing all these beautiful people.
So to me, what I believe we need to do is to look at the conditions that lead to violence and address those conditions. In 2006, when we had the high homicide rate in San Francisco, I authored a charter amendment that would take money from the budget and have it go towards employment programs, after-school programs, housing programs, to be able to support people who are struggling with lack of opportunity. So we're looking at getting at the root causes of violence. To me, that's the only way we're going to be able to resolve.
First of all, I don't have to tell you, I mean, I don't know if you've been following, but one of the things Poor started out of just complete depression and almost pretty intense anger was what we call the gentrification tours are. I don't know if you followed any of those?
No, but I've heard
A little bit about it?
I've heard you say gentrification.
Good. Well, anyway, let's just say that's a proactive performance action to speak back to the removal of poor peoples of color in almost every city, every part, every corner of San Francisco, specifically in this eastern neighborhood. And I don't have to probably tell you about the Eastern Neighborhood Plan and what they have plans for on this very street. You probably heard some of that mess. And I just wonder, as if you make mayor, because it's such a deep question, because in a lot of ways the constituency of this city is turning, white and wealthy. Let's be real, right? And so how does one balance, pandering to that group in a way to get their vote, and at the same time actively limiting their power, if that's even possible? It's a fascinating and difficult question, and I think that it, of course, is probably already in your mind. I'd like your concepts on that, especially to us who are at the brink of being removed out of this city. This building, they want to be gone. Once this is gone, Poor Magazine's gone. So what are your thoughts on this? On this complex issue?
I look at it two ways. I look at running and what that means, and being there and what that means.
Right.
The running part, to me, is I want to be able to say the same things to different people. To me, that's what the issue of being mayor in a capitalist society, a capitalist country. How do I, that's the part that I get kind of stumped at. It's like, you could have, mayor has a lot of power in the city, but everything around is like, you're like an island in a whole sea of capitalism. How do you create the change? You can't do everything you want to do. Even as supervisor, where I thought I even had the votes for things, like it's hard to pick up that rock and move it if, when there's opposition, and sometimes you lose, and so it's not like I'm going to win every change I'm going to make, even if I'm mayor and have a lot of power. So I'm willing to push the envelope, because that's what I have done as supervisor, a person in power. I push the envelope on tenant rights. I push the envelope on local hire and won. I push the envelope on tenant rights. I lost. I push the envelope on trying to get more money from departments and lost. I'm willing to lose. Because what's important is to be able to create the change that you want to create. But overall, the world that we're in...
Is there any sort of way that you could actually legalize wanting?
I'd like to think that we can minimize the repression of people who squat. I don't think that would be as easy a thing for me to do. I think for me it would be a low-level thing that I want to respond to. But the history of the United States is a history of land grabs and property, and I think that I would be going against you know, every organized group in the world to legalize squatting. I could see like not doing anything about squatting.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it just to be very, you know, forthright.